Good evening. Thank you for coming this evening. It is Monday, September 9th, 2024 at 6 p.m. I would like to convene the meeting by asking for a roll call.
Commissioner Weber, Commissioner Posey, Commissioner Lacey,
Yes.
Commissioner Veer,
Yes.
President Opit.
Here. We actually have a fairly light agenda this evening, so I think this might be one of our shorter meetings, but we will go into, just to be clear with all of our local residents, we're going to go into a BINA hearing first. I just want to clarify for public comment purposes. You're welcome to comment at the BINA hearing, but that's specifically about BINA topic. Then we will close that and we'll have a second meeting where it will be the standard meeting where if you have something you'd like to comment on the general park district, that's probably the best place to do that. So just a little bit of an administrative note there. Jenny, are there any changes to the agenda this evening?
No.
Okay. If not, I would like to open the public hearing. This is a public hearing concerning the intent of the Board of the Park Commissioners to sell not to exceed $410,000 general obligation limited tax bonds for the payment of land condemned or purchased for parks for the building, maintaining, improving, and protecting of the same and existing land and facilities of the district, and for the payment of expenses incident thereto, otherwise known as a BINA hearing. With that, I think I open the floor for any.
We need a motion.
We need a motion. Maybe a motion to open.
What you just said, yeah.
Yes.
So moved.
Can I get a second? So moved.
Commissioner Veer,
Yes.
Commissioner Lacey,
Yes.
President Opit.
Yes. Okay, I think at this point we're going to public comments, so I'll ask, are there any public comments related to the BINA hearing? If there are none, I will ask for a motion to adjourn this hearing.
I second the motion.
Okay. Commissioner Veer,
Yes.
Commissioner Lacey,
Yes.
President Opit.
Yes. All right, we'll move into our regular board meeting at this point in time to agenda item 2.0. This will be 2.1 public comments. I would ask if you'd like to make a comment, please state your name and address. And comments are limited to 3 minutes. And I'll open the floor.
A short comment. Teresa Hodges, 330 8th Avenue in the Grange. I just want to say that I object to the artificial field in Gordon Park. We've seen that the Park District should be there to preserve green space. Seems unnecessary and an unnecessary financial burden. All the rest of the things that you were promoting, I thought were excellent ideas. They all need upgrading and whatnot, but the field is kind of used.
Thank you.
Would you like to respond to that at all?
The synthetic turf has been removed from the
It has been?
Yeah, the new plans are on the website. So that was removed quite some time ago.
Oh,
So we'll be sending out some new updated mailers.
yeah, okay.
But even so, thank you for coming.
Yes.
I appreciate hearing from all of our residents.
Yeah.
We heard the concerns. Yes.
Okay. I didn't find the update, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay. But thank you for coming.
Additional comments?
Yeah, I'd like to agree with her because I don't know if anybody's ever sat through any type of ball game that's played on artificial surfaces, but in hot weather, they're very hot and they smell and they're toxic and they're just not the answer. They look really nice, they're sharp, but I think it's not the answer for the Park District.
Thanks, John.
Can you just state your name and address?
John Pluto, I live 718 East Avenue.
Thank you.
All right, any additional comments this evening? All right, well, thank you for coming. I hope you'll stay for the whole meeting. It's always exciting. But again, thanks for coming out. Let's move to the consent agenda, item 3.0. I will ask for a motion for the approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting dated August 12, 2024, approval of the financial reports dated August 31st, 2024, and approval of the consolidated vouchers for September dated September 9th, 2024.
I make a motion that 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3 be approved for the consent agenda.
Second.
Commissioner Lacey?
Yes.
Commissioner Veer?
Yes.
President Obid?
Yes. Moving on to the staff reports, we'll start with the director's report this evening.
Okay. So just to highlight within my report, as we continue to work through the referendum, we've sent the resolution to Cook County, and then we started working again with Chapman and Cutler and PMA. Because our EAV went up with the triennial assessment, that means the tax impact for our residents within our referendum decreased. So it previously was $71 annually, about $6 per month. Now it's down to $63 annually and $5 a month for the $13.86 million referendum. So
That's on a home of
$500,000. Thank you. Yes. So our tax calculator has been updated, so you can go and recalculate what the tax impact would be to the residents. I wanted to give a little bit of an update on Stone Park. We've hit a bit of a snag. The village requires that anything over, any new impervious surface over 250 square feet requires in site plan or engineering plan. So we were trying to we were working with Burke. We were trying to go through the bid process with them to avoid a competitive bid. And now we need to kind of backstep, because our choices are we can either reduce the square footage under 250 square feet to try to accommodate this requirement, which would mean removing the back sidewalk and removing part of the pavement that enters into the park along with the bike rack, along with reducing the footprint of the park a little bit to get it under that 250 square feet, because the concrete curbing of the playground also counts. So we've reached out to White to see if they can assist us, and they said they can assist us. They looked at it. We were able to provide a plat survey. The plat survey did include topography, so they were able to look at some of the drainage as well, because we did have drainage under the park. So in an effort to avoid tying into the village system, to avoid an MWRD permit, which would take approximately 3 months to get, they suggested a rain garden, which would be in the front corner of the park. So the costs they gave us, White gave us the cost for the engineering plan, which would be approximately $4,000. And then the rain garden, which is 800 square feet, it would be about 25 feet wide by 40 feet long, 12 inches by 15 inches deep. That could accommodate 150 to 300 plants. If we planted all the plants, I've been given the estimate, again, these are rough estimates, would be about $12,000 to $15,000 for the rain garden. If we did it in a tiered system and did no plants this year and plants next year, or tiered in some plantings, it would be approximately $5,000 to $7,000. So we would be looking at approximately, call it $15,000 to be safe. And again, these are cost estimates. I don't have the numbers in my hand. I did the best I could to get the numbers for this evening. So we looked at the budget. We still have about $5,000. We budgeted $175,000, and we are currently at $170,000. So we have $5,000 left in the budget. We do have some contingency. It's early in the year to use contingency in our fiscal year. seeing where we may want budget. But we did have some leftover funds in the parking lot project and some other areas. So we would need to spend a little bit more money if we want to, I want to say, do it right and do what we wanted originally, or we can reduce the footprint and we can fit it in under the village requirements.
If I may ask, the 12 to 15K includes the labor to put in the rain garden and also the cost for the plants? Is that
Correct.
right? Okay. Do we know what the cost of the plants is separately?
Well, if without the plants, it would be about $5,000 to $7,000. So the plants are almost half.
Okay, that was that split
Yeah.
you talked about. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
6,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you need me to catch you up?
I apologize.
You're okay.
I had to drop my son off and only be one place at the same time, so he was running late.
You're good. You're good.
I think I haven't pointed out to where we are in the agenda.
Okay. So we were just talking about stone and how we exceeded the 250 square feet of new impervious service at the village code, village requirement. So we either need to reduce it or move forward with getting an engineering plan, which would be $4,000, and an additional possible rain garden to tie in the drainage, which would be an extra $12,000 to $15,000 with plants, or $5,000 to $7,000 without plants, and then we could look at adding plants.
So the quote-unquote all-in with the cost of...
These are cost estimates. I don't have hard
Well,
numbers.
that's why I have air quotes,
Yeah.
because I understand until we get an actual quote, it's kind of meaningless, but just for my understanding, it sounds like $4,000 for the engineering study, and then assuming there's no issues with that,
Right. That's exactly it.
then there's an additional cost on top of that for the additional
Rain garden.
rain garden, which would be required by the village, right? Likely?
Likely, but the rain garden would help us avoid tying into the village system,
Okay.
which would spark a MWRD permit.
Which we don't want to do, because
Correct.
that's expensive.
Yes.
So we're talking minimum, like, around 20, right? Is that what I'm understanding correctly?
I would say minimum probably 12 if we don't do the plants. So if the rain garden with no plants is 5 to 7,
Okay.
and then the engineering plan is 4. If we do the plants, that's 12 to 15.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
So you're saying the rain garden would require a plan then?
Well, we would have to check with the village to see if we could do it in a tiered system.
So on the impervious area, is there any non-impervious product that we could use as a substitute?
I don't believe so. Even pavers, I believe, would still trigger.
Impervious?
Yeah.
You don't get a 100% discount.
And the price would be relatively close to this anyway, probably, for pervious pavers.
Permeable pavers, it would be more. It
And
would
we
be
still
more.
have to do the engineering study.
Yes.
With permeable
Yes.
pavers.
The permeable paver would be more, and it would be more cost and maintenance long term. So I'm happy to continue. Because we didn't receive our permit, it was delayed because of some of these issues. The plan to start was supposed to be August 26th. It was pushed. We kind of lost our place in line, right, with the contractor, which I understand. So the next date available was September 23rd. So we either need to decide, and the later we get, they're not going to be able to do concrete, so I can try to firm up some of these numbers and reach out to the board individually after the meeting when I have the numbers, or if we wanted to get some consensus to move forward with not to exceed a certain number, we would just need a consensus for that. But it's,
Do you have a recommendation based on what you see right now?
I was a little taken aback by the cost of the rain garden. So if the village would allow us to do that lower tiered with, where we could add the plants the next year, I think that would be good for this year, just to kind of see where we are with the budget. But I would recommend that we move forward. I think I see why some of our parks have the plastic playground borders now. You know, I'm starting to really understand with the village and their requirements why maybe some of our parks were designed the way they were designed to kind of maneuver some of these requirements. But I think that if we want to move forward with being, you know, our parks first class, I think we need to look at investing some money, because then when we move forward and these things need to be replaced, we don't need as much of these requirements.
Can you say that last part again? I don't know that I was following that last part.
Which last part?
Your like last sentence.
So when you can replace like for like, so if like the basketball court, we can replace because it's there. Mm-hmm. So if we put these sidewalks in, these pathways for accessibility, and they need to replace them in the future, there's no additional fees or plans required. They can just replace them.
Okay.
So if we do it and reduce the footprint, then if they wanted to do it in the future, they would still have to go back and do a plan. So we're doing the work now. It seems to me, I would recommend to put in the extra money at this point to get the park the way we want it and accessible.
So so that unfortunately means we would delay construction of the park.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
If we, White said they would be able to get us the engineering plan next week. So if I look at a calendar, and if we can get it submitted to the village, we might still be able to meet that deadline of the 23rd, because that's 2 weeks away.
Okay. Because the hesitation that I have right now is that park gets a lot of use,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been offline for a long time, since the spring, because of safety reasons, and we needed to close it down. But at the same time, I agree with you that a little bit of investment now means that we have more flexibility moving forward, because we can replace like with like.
Correct.
And so that's a tough way. So I think it's for me, I am leaning more towards let's do it right, even if it means spending a little bit more than we were anticipating, because we have to get this, because it's unexpected that we have to get an engineering study now to have the footprint that we've done all the plans for.
Right.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
I would concur. I think it makes sense to try to do it if we can. We don't have too many rain gardens, I think, in that configuration, so it'd be a nice opportunity to maybe pilot that and see how that performs. I like the fact that we wouldn't be putting water down the sewers.
Right.
My other thought was, if we can do the tiered approach, is there any opportunity to partner with like schools, maybe do some kind of environmental program where they're actually growing these plants in a classroom as part of a biology class or whatever, and then we have maybe some native grasses that we don't have to spend the full $5,000 on plants, and we get it down to 4 or 3 because the kids are contributing. So maybe there's some creative ways here.
Yeah.
But I would say, from a budgeting standpoint, I think we should plan on the full spend, and then if we could find a way to pull it back through donations, maybe there's an opportunity.
Yeah. There's some grants we could look into too, so for the plants.
So how big was the rain garden again?
800 square feet, approximately 25 feet wide by 40 feet long.
It's not a big park.
No, I have a,
And you said it's going to be in the, what's that? It's going to be in the northeast or southeast corner?
northeast.
Okay.
Northeast.
So it's by the home there? Is there some home
No,
on
the
that
home's
side?
in their side.
No, by the home.
Oh, by the home, you're right.
Yeah, by the home. There's no home there right now, though. There's no home there.
How close is that to the property line, or to be determined?
If you give me 1 second.
I'll walk down there and look.
Sorry.
Too.
So this is the cul-de-sacs over here.
And this is where the rain garden
Would be, yeah, so it's in the
So it's not
corner.
that near the property.
and the rain garden is just vegetation that.
Yes, and it's 12 to 15.
Okay.
So what, that's just a grassy area right now?
So we could do a not to exceed an additional $20,000 and see where that puts us. And again, staff will do their best to try to work with the village to do a tiered, to see if we can get a grant or something for the plants or budget for the plants next year.
Yeah.
Jamie's counting pennies over there.
Well, to me, it just seems like it's one of those, I always think of like an HVAC unit or a roof on your house. Like it's an expense that's like a necessary expense. And if you don't do it right, you're gonna have to do it right at some point.
Right. Right.
And so we are kind of like, if we don't do it now and take that into consideration, 20 years from now or wherever it is when the park's going to come up for another improvement,
Yeah.
we're going to have to go to the village anyway. So
Right.
That's how I'm analyzing
So
it.
Jamie, the numbers are there?
It is early in our fiscal year, so we do have the funds if the board is amicable to a cap at, say, $20,000.
And it wouldn't be that much because we do have 5.
We are overestimating just for right now, like we don't have the firm numbers. But obviously, from my standpoint, I would hope the village would be willing to do the tiered system. This way, we're not having all that financial impact this fiscal year. But again, if they do stand firm on that, we are in a place where we can complete this project upon the recommendation of, doing it correctly and to the full capacity, so.
You want to,
I just need a consensus if the board is in agreement. So if everybody could just give a yes to not to exceed an additional $20,000 to the project.
I'm okay with that. It definitely sounds like you're okay.
I'm okay with that too.
I can tell.
Lynn, you okay with that?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, then we will move forward with that. That's the only other thing I had, unless there were, I do have another thing. So I just want to make sure everybody saw in my report that we are having some public meetings coming up for the referendum. So they're all on our website. The first one is going to be September 26th at noon. We're going to try some Zoom virtual meetings at the lunch hour, just to see if maybe some people might want to attend that way if they can't make it at night or during the day. So in person.
Are we allowed to share those links like on our personal?
They need to contact me for the link's not out there.
Okay.
They need to reach out for the link.
Okay.
But you can definitely share the link to the meeting dates.
Okay.
Were you going to say on your personal Facebook page or something?
Yeah.
Well, then you tune that into a public forum
Okay, then no.
where you can't delete comments and things about Park District business. But if you have a candidate Stephanie Posey webpage, that's a good place to share it because that is always a public forum.
Okay.
But
I
your
do not
personal
have
one
that.
where you post like kids scoring an amazing goal or something, you don't want to turn that into a public forum.
Okay. Thank you, intrepid legal advisor.
So that's all I have.
I congratulate you again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right, moving forward, Jamie, would you like to take us through finance and human resources?
Yeah, keep it pretty short. We, as a district, received a little over $930,000 for property taxes for 2023. So that's a nice little highlight. And then kind of just on the human resources side, we imposed and successfully went ahead with the policy that was approved by the board for the part-time IMRF employees for sick time or paid to leave off accruals. So that has been calculated appropriately. So it's good to note that because we wanted to take a smaller demographic of part-time employees and make sure that before we roll it out as of January 1 for regular, all other part-time employees, that was accruing appropriately, and it is. And then we've just been busy bringing on base employees, preschool employees, and all of our other program part-time staff. So HR department's been busy.
When do you expect to have that audit completed? Is that something we'll see in the next meeting, or what's?
So right now, the hiccup is with the transition from previous finance director to who we had contracted out with for accounting services with Sullivan Fox. I have been in constant contact with Lauterbach and Amon, and I'm hopeful that it will be here in time for us to present in October.
Okay.
I'm just waiting on one item, and I'm staying on top of it.
Okay.
But it's trying to coordinate between the accounting firm and our auditors, so that's where my frustration is right now.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Okay, seeing none. Kevin, would you like to update us on anything in your director's report on recreation?
Yes, so we are in full swing of our fall season. We are prepping for basketball, preschool's underway, base is ongoing. All of our programs are up and running for session 1. I'm sure you guys are aware we did have a resignation in our department. Dom Ajimani, the fitness supervisor, changed careers. So we are currently in the process of transitioning some things around in the department. We are in the process of scheduling interviews for a facility and operations supervisor. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay. A lot going on. So we're hoping to have that position filled end of the month. We start interviews this week. Within my report, I did do the summer end of season report. So I'll walk you through that real quick. Overall, we had a decent summer. Cancellation rates were not what we would like them to be. We are experiencing a lot of transition with newer staff, different philosophies. We're switching out some vendors. So that's led to some lower than ideal success rates for programs. In terms of program enrollment, it was still pretty good. Overall, so on the bottom of page 60 of your board packet, if you look at the total between 23 and 24, we did go down about 120-ish participants, and that is because of how we restructured fitness programming. That's the big chunk of it. So we now do fitness, we used to be fee-based and then member-based, 2 completely different schedules. We merged it all into one schedule. So members and non-members can take the exact same class, exact same time. So it reduced redundancies. It is able to allow us to track fitness members in classes, so we can get all that data now. Previously, we were doing it by hand. So that's the big reason for that decline.
So this number does not include fitness members, or it does?
No, so if you go to page 61,
Yep.
I broke out the fitness member. So fitness member classes had 1,817 total participants.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And then within that, if you are not a fitness member, you can still pay a fee to take that class. We had 76 total for that. So what I did not include in this report, and I apologize for that, but I do have the number, is the residency breakdown. So between all programming with the exception of summer camp, we're at 47% residents, 53% non-residents. So that's 3,116 total enrollments is what that came out to. What is not included in that number are Bulls Sox camps. We don't have, because they take their own registration, we cannot pull that demographic data. We just know how many signed up. And the summer camp was super successful. We ran at 100% capacity for our 9 to 3 time slots. at 1,019 total participants compared to 859 last year. So we had a good summer in regards to camp. Any questions on that end of season report?
So that number you said you didn't have in the report, isn't that the same as the grid that we have here for the different communities? You said 47%?
It's only partial.
Okay. So that is a different number.
Yeah, this is the total number. Yeah, that grid only shows you probably 85% of the registrants. And then one other item I want to brief the board on is with our soccer affiliates. So we did discuss last time to allow, we have Gordon Main shut down for the season. We did allow Celtics to stripe and put goals out and play games Saturdays and Sundays there. What we found out is they were using the field during the week. So we've corrected that. What we have told all the affiliates going forward is that if they are caught using fields that are not permitted to them, they will pay the non-affiliate rate for those fields. The second infraction will be a meeting with myself in the district, and they could potentially lose affiliate status depending on how that scenario played out with what fields they used and the communication lines between the presidents of these clubs and their coaches. Just want to make you guys aware of that. There was some tattling going on amongst the clubs.
How's that field holding up?
You know better than I would.
There's some spots that's just soil. I wish I have seed down, but that's what they wanted. So far it seems okay. It's tough now, it's been so dry.
Yeah.
I think with a little rain next week, it's going to help kind of compact that. And it's only been, 2 weeks
Well, they just started games this weekend,
this weekend?
but they've been using it for 3 weeks, unofficially.
I walked it Friday, it seemed fine, but again, after a weekend of using it, I'm hoping everything goes well.
Yeah.
Other questions for Kevin? All right, seeing none. Oh,
The foreign languages,
Yes.
are you gonna keep them?
No. So the only ones we'll keep are the ones that have been running consistently, which is youth Spanish. We try some different, so we try Italian, French, Spanish for youth and adults, and we had Zoom options. So it's just not successful.
Okay.
all right, if there are no further questions, I will ask Eric, do you want to take us through park maintenance?
Oh yeah, wanted to talk about two things off my reports. With soccer starting, we're going to continue to monitor turf, make sure it stays healthy as best as we can with the amount of games and practices. We will be applying probably fertilizer herbicide, our fall treatment. We're starting this week. It will help keep the turf as healthy as possible to kind of keep up with how much soccer we have going on. And then some of the Babe Ruth fields now have soccer in the outfield, so I wanted to make sure that the turf's keeping up with that. And the second thing I wanted to bring up, Gordon's splash pad officially closed on the 3rd. My staff's not here, but I just wanted to thank them. It's a lot of work. Basically checking it daily, sometimes twice. A lot of maintenance issues. So it's nice to have that closed. And again, thank my staff because it's weekend work. It's, I was coming in some of those times too, so I'm just glad that it's had a good year. That's it for parks.
On the restrooms associated with a splash pad, you're closing those?
Yeah.
Are they like winterized?
They weren't when I started in the winter. They're still running. It's just we keep them open just because staff issues with the weekend stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's related to the splash pad. Was how many people are over there, so we keep them open for that.
Oh, you are keeping them open?
No, it's closed when the splash pad is closed.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering because of the events going on the weekends, is it too much
Well, we have the porta potties or portalets are over there. Any questions for Eric? Okay. If there are no further comments on that, Eric, we'll move on to the attorney report.
Just to be prepared for First Amendment auditors, they're everywhere. They want a certified copy of things now. The Act does refer to they get a certified copy if they request one. However, that's not in the same sentence where giving them copies and requested promptly. And the only person who can certify a copy is the secretary of the board, because the secretary of the board maintains the seal. So if they ask for a certified copy, don't be afraid to tell them, okay, I need to get the secretary of the board in here to certify the copy, and that will take some time. And don't let them bully you or do any, they harangue, they do a dance, they scream sometimes. The statute says they get a copy, but if they want one, the legal process in the park code is only the secretary can do it. So you gotta wait for the secretary to come in and do it. The secretary may not be available.
What type of document are they typically asking for?
They're just doing it because the statute says it and they're standing on their rights. When you ask them why they want it, I don't have to answer that.
That's fair. I'm just wondering.
It's only got one possible purpose. A certified copy means I don't have to call the secretary as a witness in court to establish the authenticity of the document. That's the only purpose certifying a record serves.
Okay.
So none of these people are going to court with these budget documents. They're just doing it because their whole purpose is to test and provoke. And so the calmer we stay, the better we are. But, you know, they have a sort of the Apostle Paul. Remember, he was persecuting Christians and became one. Well, there's been a First Amendment auditor person who sort of now said, look, I'm ashamed of what I used to do. Our whole training was to try and provoke public employees to act badly so that we could post it on video and do other things. That was their training. So, awesome use of taxpayer dollars to deal with that shenanigans. But they're out, because it's an election season and they're out there looking around. So that, and then the legislative surveys due. So if there's anything you guys want on legislation, get those comments to Jenny and we'll make sure we get them to IAPD. That's it.
Okay, great. Action items, I don't think we have any this evening. 8.0 board business, there is no board business this evening. Committee reports, any updates from the administrative committee? Okay.
Not at this time.
Okay. Parks and Facilities Committee, there's no updates from myself. Recreation and Cultural Program Committee, any updates there?
So I'm gonna ask, I think, another follow-up meeting with Jenny and maybe Kevin. I still have a wild, audacious goal to bring the Midnight Circus to Grange for a weekend. And want to kind of revisit that as a potential fundraiser. Fundraiser. I feel like I did that, Kevin.
I do.
Okay, anything additional there?
No.
Okay, this is agenda item 10.0, the second opportunity for public comments. Again, if you'd like to say anything, please state your name and address and open the floor.
John Pluto. Eric, when we're gonna do this herbiciding in the parks, how's that gonna be handled?
It's going to be granular.
Again, this is just public comments. It's not a question and answer.
Well, that's the most important thing that I came from. And you know, the unfortunate thing in a meeting like this is we can't interject and find out what we want to know, you know?
That's true, sir, but under the law, the reason it's public comment is nobody here's prepared. Nobody here's prepared for your questions necessarily. And to shoot from the hip isn't fair to any of the staff because then you're upset if it's slightly inaccurate.
I would like to direct in different terms here, that we need to make sure that we have some warning system when we put this stuff down, so that people are aware and they're safe in our parks. I don't feel safe in my park. I need a crystal ball to figure out where things have been herbicided there. And that's not the right feeling that I should have. I should be able to walk anywhere I want in there and not worry about my dog getting sick or me getting sick or a bunch of school kids getting sick. If you understand what I'm talking about. So I'd like to know what the comprehensive plan is and how we're going to spread this stuff. When I'll call later and I'll get the details. But I think this is important before we start a project.
Thanks, John.
I was not going to say anything tonight, but now, I just heard about Stone Park, Rose Missy, 911 South Stone Avenue. I obviously want to know too, I want to make sure there's markings when there's pesticides put down in Wyola, especially because that's where I walk. I agree, I just want to see judicious use. I know there's, for the fields, it's important, but anywhere we can minimize use, I would appreciate that. And I would just like to say, I know sometimes at the village board meetings too, sometimes trustees will comment afterward, if they're so prepared, obviously, on any issue. So that's also another time that might be helpful with your questions. Most importantly, Stone Park. So I don't know a lot about what the current footprint is, but I'd like to see you discuss it in the context, like Stone Park exists in the context of the village, right? And the village of Grange is under intense pressure to minimize flooding and manage stormwater. So that's why there are these issues in place. And you may know that, but I didn't hear that really communicated in the discussion of the impervious surface. So the context is important. That's why we have to have these things. These rules. And so I don't know if it was a possibility to shrink the impervious surface, because even in homes, we just kind of get bigger and bigger, and then at some point we wonder why we have flooding or why we have, climate change or excessive heat islands. So I think that, I'm not sure why that wasn't discussed, but that doesn't seem to be part of the conversation. A rain garden sounds great. Placement will obviously have to depend on where the water's flowing to, right? So the rain garden has to be placed in a specific spot. And I don't know how the village, and I don't have any idea how they're going to feel about the tiered version. But they are under intense pressure, as you may know, to manage flooding. So anytime there is an addition of impervious surface, there's going to have to be a way to manage it. So trying to keep the impervious surface where it is or less is, in my personal opinion, preferable. Thank you.
Thanks, Rose. Any additional comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll move to board comments.
Nothing for me.
But thanks for coming out and thanks to the staff.
No significant comments. I understand your point about the conversation for the water issue. I think that was in the back of my mind personally as we talked about that. I think that's why I would support that, because I think we understand we don't want to put water down a sewer if we can avoid it right now. And thanks for coming out again. Thanks for sharing information. I appreciate it. I think I want to say that it can be hard to be up here and get a lot of information at once and then be asked to respond immediately. I'm personally not trying to be standoffish, but we get a lot of information as commissioners, and I like to have a little bit of time to process something. So when it may feel like an obvious, position to take, it's hard to take it on the fly. So I just want to say we do get a lot of input, and I personally take that seriously, and I like to reflect on it. So again, thank you for coming. I appreciate you being here. On to agenda 12.0, executive session. I cannot believe there's any actions there. So I will ask if we can have a motion to adjourn. Adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
So